Okay, so yesterday I asked you to do problems 1 through 14. Okay, and just want to go through the answers real quick with you. So number 1, take a look at that. Number 1 is 1. Number 2 is 1. Number 3 is 1 over 81. Number 4 is 1 over negative 64. It really doesn't matter where that negative sign goes. So it could be negative 164. Okay. Let's go through questions in a minute. Number 5 is 1/8. 6 is negative 8/9. So again, we'll go through questions in a minute. Some people will mess up on 6. 7 is negative 1/4, and 8 is 1/3. Okay, questions on that top section there. Yeah, Quinn.
I didn't actually write, like, for example, once the 81st, I did it by the exponent.
So you left it in this form? 1 over negative 4. I want you to multiply that negative 4 out. So if on this assignment you left it like this, go ahead and make a note to yourself to multiply it out to here. Okay? Any other questions on that section? Yes, Sarah? Number 8 would it be negative? No, this part right here is going to change. Oops, sorry. This part right here is going to be 1. Okay, this part's going to drop down. You're going to have 3 to the first times 1. You get 1/3. Other questions on 1 through 8? Okay. Number 9 is 1. Number 10 is 1 over a to the 8th. Number 11 is 6 over b to the 2nd. Number 12 is 14 over m to the 4th. 13 is 1 over 9r cubed. And 14 is 64b to the 5th over a cubed. Okay, any questions on 9 through 14? Okay, very good. So what I would like you to do right now then is I want you to take a look at this guy here. We're going to explore a couple more properties today. So to simplify each expression, write your answer using only positive exponents. So I'm going to go through these problems with you. I'm going to give you a chance to copy them down on your note page. The A, B, and C, go ahead and copy them down. Give yourself some space so we can go through them together. Okay? There's our title section if you need that. Okay, so 3 squared times 3 to 6. What do we get? Remember yesterday we did this in our exploration. What was the shortcut we came up with? Yes, Sarah? Good. If the base is the same, you add the exponents. So it's 3 to the 2 plus 6, which is 3 to the 8. Okay? And it says write your answer using only positive exponents. So I'm going to have it like this, but I also want you to write out what 3 to the 8th is. So what is 3 to the 8th?
3 times 3.
Yep, so like what's the numeric value of that? $6,561? Yeah? All right. Very good. Thank you. Okay. Hey, when we're dealing with the division property here, when we're dealing with that, what are we doing when we're dividing the same base? Keep the base and do what to the exponents? Subtract. 2 minus 7 there. Okay. On this one, you can go that route. It gives you negative 4. Make sure you put that negative 4 in parentheses because that includes the negative. If you don't put parentheses, then you can't include that negative sign. So the negative started in parentheses, so you need to leave it in parentheses so that when you're done, you get 2 to the negative 5th. Now, 2 minus 7 is negative 5. We don't have a positive exponent here. We have a negative exponent. How do we make that a positive? Yeah. What's that? What are we doing? What's that? What's reverse it mean? Good. You move it to the other side of the fraction. That moves down. Okay? So this becomes now 1 over negative 4 to the 5th. All right. What is negative 4 to the 5th power? First of all, is negative 4 to the 5th going to be a positive or a negative number?
Negative.
Good. It's an odd power, so it'll be a negative number. Negative times negative times negative times negative times negative. Yeah. Negative 1,024. Okay? Good. Now, the other way to do this, and probably the easier way that I like to think of, I have negative 4 to the second and negative 4 to the seventh. Where do I have more negative 4s, top or bottom? Bottom. I think it's easier just to think of it that way. I have more negative 4s on the bottom. How many more? 5. Okay, that brings me right to right there. It's a little quicker. I think it's a little quicker that way. See what I mean? So, go that route. Okay, this gives me, when I'm going a power to a power here, power to a power gives me negative 3. That means I'm going to take all of this and move it down. So that's going to give me 1 over z to the 4th, all raised to the 3rd now. So by moving it down, it gets rid of that negative sign. Okay, now what do we need to do with this? Yeah, we multiply it. Here we got 3 z to the 4th. So z to the 4th times z to the 4th times z to the 4th is z to the 12. So remember, if you have parentheses, it's like you have to distribute it. It's kind of that same rule we worked on with the distributive property. Okay, tell your neighbor what you learned on those 3. Summarize it. Wrap up discussion. I'd like you to spend about 2 minutes. Get as far as you can on those problems in 2 minutes. Okay, here we go. Everyone, what's number 5? 10 to the negative 2. However, we can only use positive exponents, so it's actually what?
1 over 10 to the second.
Which is?
1 over 100.
1 over 100. Very good. All right. This one right here.
1.
It's x to the 0, which is 1. Good. This one right here. Be careful. Is the negative included?
No, it's a
Negative's hanging out on the outside. It doesn't have parentheses holding it together. Therefore, that's negative 1 times that. Negative 1 times that. What's negative divided by negative? Positive. They cancel out. This is 5 to the 4th. Okay, where do I have more y's? Top or bottom? Bottom. By 1. 1 more y on the bottom. Okay, we distribute the negative in. Becomes 6 to the what power?
Negative 10.
Negative 1 times negative 2 is?
Oh, 3.
No.
I'm mad.
Is 2.
It's 2. Oh my gosh.
Okay, and this one is w to the 5 times 12. 60. All right. Any questions on those? Okay, what I'd like you to do right now, I'd like you to copy those down, please, into your notes.
Can I go to that?
Okay, here we go. Letter A. Hey, we're bringing it into, there are 2 things inside here, so you got to bring that squared into both parts. The other thing to keep in mind, that right now, since you're bringing it into all of this, this is negative 1.5, and when you're squaring negative 1.5, that's a negative times negative. So it's going to give you a positive. It gives you a positive 2.25. And then we square the y squared to get just y squared. So you've got to bring that into every part on the inside. So when you're bringing this 3 in, it's going to there, and it's going to the negative 10, and it's the whole negative 10 there. Okay, so that gives me a to the 3rd and negative 10 to the 3rd, which is 1,000 in the negative style. Okay, so bring it into each part there. So how many different pieces are on the inside of the parentheses here? Tell your neighbor.
3.
Okay, everyone on your fingers. 1, 2, or 3. There are a total of 3. There's a 3, there's a D, and there's a 2. 3 times D, 4 goes to the 3, goes to the D, goes to the 2. So that's 3 to the 4th, D to the 4th, and 2 to the 4th. Gives me 3 to the 4th is not 12, it is 81, thank you. D to the 4th over 4, or 2 to the 4th is 16. Now if you can simplify 81/16, you go for it, but you can't simplify that part, so you're good. Hey, this is a negative right here. What's that mean? Yeah. It's going to make the powers inside negative. But you guys, anytime there's a negative outside parentheses like that, a quick way to do it is think, well, to make this a positive, I just need to flip that fraction on the inside. Okay? So, really, this becomes 3 over 2x now. And now I have a positive 5. Okay? So you go that route. That goes in here, goes in there, and goes in there. This gives you 3 to the 5th, 2 to the 5th, x to the 5th. 3 to the 5th is? Thank you, 243. 2 to the 5th, 32. X to the 5th. Okay, so remember that negative means that it's going to flip it. Now, if you didn't realize, if you're like, I didn't know that I had to flip it, you could just think of it as the properties we've talked about before. That brings you 2 to the negative 5th like that, x to the negative 5th, and 3 to the negative 5th. And what that would end up doing, it would move these things down and move this one up. Okay, which brings you to this. Actually brings you to that. Okay? All right. Questions? Okay. Want you to take 2 minutes on those. Off you go. Okay, remember negative out here, it means everything moves. Becomes 1 over 10y. All of the third, like that. And that means it goes into the 10 and goes to the y, so we get 1 over 1,000 y cubed. Okay, this is going into each part. That negative right there means it's like having a negative 1, and when you raise a negative to a odd power, do you get positive or negative? You get negative. Good. So we've got negative. We have 4 to the 5th, and into the 5th. Now that negative 1 really doesn't matter out there now that we know the answer is negative. So we just leave it as negative. Negative 4 to the 5th is? 1,000 what? Thank you. Over into the 5th. And all in the negative 5. Okay? Bring this into each part. Goes there, goes there, goes there. That is 1 over 2 to the 5th and k to the 10th. 2 to the 5th is 32, so 1 over 32, k to the 10th. The last one, what happens when you have a negative and you have a fraction on the inside? Yeah, flip it. 7 over 6c squared, so that's 7 squared. And 6 squared c squared, or 49 over 36 c squared. Okay, any questions on those? Very good. Last thing we need to do today, talking about some scientific notation. Turn your sheet over that you picked up on the way in. Just a quick review on scientific notation. How many remember this from previous years? Okay, so should be really fast then. Okay, standard form is just kind of like our normal number. If we want to make it scientific notation, you need to get to a number that is in between. It's less than 10, but greater than 1. Okay? So in other words, it has one real number to the left of the decimal. So in this case, an 8. So 8.0. All right? So like when I'm looking at this, and I look at my first real number, it's 4. I want to get my decimal, which is hiding back here, to in between the 4 and the 2. So this should be 4.2. And then we're moving the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 4.2 times 10 to the... Did my number get bigger or smaller? My number got smaller, therefore this power needs to get bigger. Okay? So 4.2 times 10 to the 5th. Okay? All right. Thank you. Huh? Yeah, I got it up here. Okay. All right, so you guys don't think about what happens with your, like which way you're moving it. Just think about what happens to the number. So this number, that's 5. Anyone know what that is?
A lot.
Billion. 100 million. Okay? 5,100 million. What's your number out front going to be? Tell your neighbor. What's the number out here going to be? 5.1. Okay? And then we move the decimal. Looks like 3, 6, 9 times 10 to the 9. This number got smaller, so that one has to get bigger. If your number gets smaller, your power gets bigger, and vice versa. Okay, so I want to take a look at number 5. Okay, what's the number that's going to be out front? 7.5. And our number got from here to here, got bigger or smaller? Smaller. Therefore, my power needs to get this number didn't get smaller, did it? It got bigger, yeah. All right, let's try that again. It got bigger, so my power is going to be negative. 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 4. Okay, move it 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, go ahead and do this one. Number 6.
Oh, that's easy.
Of course
That'll
it
be
is.
fun. Vacuum.
4.005 times 10 to the
Negative 30.
1, 2, 3. Yep, and it should be a negative. Very good. Goes to there, and then to there. All right. Hey, any questions? So you guys, if you're going standard form, just so you know, 6.345 times 10 to the 8th, is my number going to get bigger or smaller? It's going to get bigger because that is a positive. So it's going to move this way 8 decimal. So we just add a bunch of zeros for those extra holders. So 6, 3, 4, 5, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. There, we've got it. Okay? Yeah, I know, it's kind of annoying. Number 10. Taking a look at that one, is that number going to get bigger or smaller? Smaller. Okay? I'm going to move it 3 places. 1, 2, 3. The number's got to get smaller. The decimal goes there. So it's always put a 0 out in front as a place value holder. There, it got it. All right. Any questions? All right. Very good.